Hello. For those that know me will likely know my story. Back in 2017, I tried to take my own life. One thing that hadn't occurred to me is had I been successful, there would have been no financial safety net for my loved ones. We here at HodgeCast have teamed up with Assured Life Advisors, a financial planning business that helps protect families and business owners from some of life's uncertainties. Assured Life Advisors empowers its customers to secure their financial futures. Remember, with appropriate financial planning advice, you can help reduce the impact to your loved ones should the worst case ever happen. Please visit the link to their website in the description below for more information. Don't delay. Plan your loved one's future today. Thank you, and enjoy this next episode of HodgeCast. What is your challenge? On this episode, we're joined by Darren Winstanley. Darren is a bodybuilder and has recently competed in several National Amateur Bodybuilders Association tournaments. Darren, like many who compete in bodybuilding, has a strict regime and an intense level of discipline. However, this wasn't always the case, and today we chat with Darren about his past traumas and addictions. Darren Winstanley, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And you've just recently competed in a competition. Do you want to elaborate on that? What was it you've just done?
So I competed Sunday the 24th of September.
Okay.
That was for NABBA England. A qualifier to NABBA Universe.
Right.
I have already qualified for NABBA Universe through the British finals. But yeah, it was a stepping stone to see how I come out of it, you know what I mean? See if, just basically dust the cobwebs off as well.
Yeah.
You know, because it's been 5 months since I've been on stage.
Right.
At NABBA Britain, so dust the cobwebs off and see where I went from there, which NABBA Universe is on the 28th of October.
Right, okay.
Come second in my class 1, NABBA England. Got another invite, so that's 2 invites to the same show, NABBA Universe. I wouldn't say it's a common thing, it's rare, you know. Yeah. People don't usually get to,
right.
You know, so it's an achievement in itself for me, you know. Yeah, but that's where
first off, mate, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done. You can see you're in phenomenal shape. Like, I don't know how well that's coming off on the camera.
I am. I'm in a push phase now.
Right. Okay.
So we're in a deficit. Straight away we go in a surplus now, a calorie surplus.
Okay.
Cut sugar, no sugars, no simple sugars, no nothing like that. Basically in a surplus, nice clean food. What I've been eating. The aim is to fill up, get thick, not get fat.
Right. Okay.
You know, so if I do prep again, it's a lot easier.
Yeah. No, brilliant. So how long have you been doing the bodybuilding for now, Darren?
So I've been going to the gym all my life since I was about 16. I'm 38 years old now. Okay. So I've always done the gym. I've always been a gym rat. It's my sanctuary. Yeah. So, but the bodybuilding side of it, I decided to jump into a show in February 2022. So that's when I started dieting for my first show in May 2022, which was last year. So all in all, it would have been, it's about 18 months. 18 months, 18 months, yeah.
Because the reason I asked that is obviously, you know, we've spoken that on the phone previously, is kind of like to, what I do with all the guests is we kind of strip it back to the beginning so they can kind of get a bit of meat on the bone kind of thing, so they know who you are. And obviously I had to point out that you're a bodybuilder because I'm sure people will notice on seeing you on camera. But what if we strip it back to kind of like the beginning, sort of, where did you grow up? Who's Darren Winstanley, or who was you back then? Right, so
I was just I'm just a council estate kid. My mum doesn't work, she's disabled. She's been disabled since she was 18. She had a motorbike accident and she's never had full use of her leg. She's spent so much time in hospital from being young, so she's never been able to work from that. My dad's always been in work, whether it's warehousing or what have you, on the forklift truck, so he's been the worker bringing the money in. So we always lived on a council estate, brought up on a council estate. Loved it, you know. I was just one of them kids getting up to some, playing the manhunt and, you know, mischief, knock and roll, things like that. Just a typical lad growing up. But yeah, everything was great as a kid. You know, they did the best they could, my parents. Yeah.
No, I grew up on a council estate as well. So yeah, you referenced the manhunt. That was a couple of years older than me, but that's manhunt was a game where you basically everyone had to go and hide, and then you had to find one another. Probably don't play it these days.
No,
with phones
people's
and
backyards and stuff. You go in people's backyards now, you know, you're on a charge and things like that. But back in the day, like, it was just like, you know, someone would chase you out of it and things like that.
No, of course.
Yeah.
So kind of like, obviously, as those who don't know you, we'll touch on a little bit later on with the, you know, getting into kind of a bit of trouble and what have you. What was kind of like, you mentioned you enjoyed it, you was a good kid, your parents raised you to the best of their abilities. Was there ever like a pivotal moment what made you go down the wrong path?
So, if I think back to where it was, so I was born in 1985, and as I said, I just grew up being a normal kid and stuff like that through my younger years, and it come to a point in, I think it was 1996. I was around about 11 years old. I'd already took up the hobby of fishing. Okay. And I loved it, to be honest. I used to do well. It was fishing in the Sunday matches for St Helens, just over Carmel Dam and the St Helens hot waters, and pilks and things like that. So I did a lot of fishing with my dad, with my younger brother. And I shone out to a certain fella when I was doing this match. I was just a normal kid. If I look back at the pictures now, I was like, you know, like I was just a skinny kid, a little vulnerable person. That's the way I used to look, I'll be across. And there was a moment in my life where everything turned when I was 11 during fishing. Now, this guy took a liking to me. He was into his fishing, he was there on the matches, he used to run the shows, run the fishing matches and stuff like that. My dad was always there at my side. He got a good friendship with my dad. It come to a point he's come and visit round my parents' house. So I'm at this young age, and they'd have a brew or something, my mum would make some toast, what have you. And he was always there, and he used to tell my parents how well I'm doing and this, and he can go far in this and things like that. Really bigged me up. I loved it, you know, my parents was made up, I was good at something. Numerous occasions he'd come round to my parents' house. Right, he's done so well here. These are some free stuff, whether it's a fishing box, a fishing rod, just little things like that, little nice gestures. And you know, it's nice at that age to receive something, especially when your parents can't buy you good stuff. Yeah. Because you know, there's only one parent working. So they really got close to this guy. It was, I'd say, 6 months of a really good bond with him, seeing him every week, being round our house. And he put a thing to me mum and dad, he's going Anglesey for a fishing trip. And he said, can he come? You know, basically, we'll be going at 4 a.m, whatever it is, I think it was the time. As I'm saying, this is 27 years ago now, I think it is. It happened 27. Yeah. So where I'm going to get with this is, basically I went and stayed at his house on the night my mum and dad allowed it. They was close to him, they trusted him. And I went and stayed because we was going at 4 o'clock in the morning. From me as an 11-year-old lad, he offered me a can of beer. You know, and at that time I was having bits of drink on the street with my mates, you know what I mean? Whatever we could get the hand on the ciders and stuff. Yeah, okay. And then it went to more and more, and I remember him giving me stuff what burnt my throat, which was something probably on the lines of brandy or whiskey. So I was in a drunk state. So basically I was in a bit of a mess, but I can still remember it like it was yesterday. Basically gets on the settee, throws me a quilt and stuff like that, and I'm in and out of sleep. And this guy basically starts touching me while I'm on the couch. Now this guy has been convicted of this charge. Right. He starts to have his hand under the quilt, he's touching me, I can feel it, and I'm trying to turn around and I'm feeling awkward. I'm in his house and stuff like that. I don't know, can't remember how long it went on for. I'm being a young lad and I've had drink, I've ended up basically pissing myself on his couch, you know. He's actually woke me up and said, you're a dirty bastard, you pissed all over my couch, get up and I take your clothes off. And he made me take my clothes off and stand in the corner of his room. living room. So I'm naked, trying to hide I'm a young lad, and he's just looking at me and he's telling me come over to him and things like that. Now, I didn't, I was so embarrassed. I'm a young lad, naked in this man's house, I'm still drunk, it's through the night. I gets back under the quilt. At this point, I think he put towels down on it or something like that. And I gets back under the quilt. Then I feel him again, touching me while I'm under this quilt. Touching me where he basically shouldn't. It was not rubbing me back, making sure I was okay. He was touching private genital parts, yeah. And because I was half out of it, I didn't really. Yeah, it was a bad experience for me at the time, and I think that was basically everything what went on. There was more to it in the way of it went on for longer. It was a longer thing, but it was basically putting his hands on me, touching me, making me stand there naked, and just basically calling me he's dirty bastard and everything like that. So it was like a bit of verbal abuse as well. So that was a time when I had sexual abuse off a stranger. Next day, woke up as if nothing happened. Drove to Anglesey, set up bivvy up, set the rods up, and I basically stayed in this little bivvy tent all the time, just remembering exactly what went on. I just wanted to go home. I remember crying, saying I want to go home. He wouldn't take me home. And the day come to an end where he had to take me home, you know what I mean? And I kept it under wraps. I told no one, not a soul. I told no one till it was, I think the year was about 2011. And the reason I told this person, she's my kid's mum, my ex-wife, is because in the same telling star we got it delivered through the door. So in between that time he did that and that, I did get expelled from a school called Carl. My behaviour went down. I did stop fishing completely. But back onto the subject where I told someone is, it come through on the same telling star. The guy who'd abused me had just been done for abusing someone in exactly the same way. It was on the front page of the Star. In the same way. Two lads who'd been fishing, he'd sexually abused them. He got convicted, I think it was remembered as a suspended sentence. So he didn't even go to jail for that. That was in 2011. So if he's done it for anyone...
Not that long ago then, really,
yeah,
in the grand scheme of things.
So basically that's when I went downhill. My behaviour went downhill. I started being a bit of a loose cannon. I told my wife when I seen that, she basically said how I reacted to it. She knew there was something up. I told her to keep it and to never tell anyone. To be fair, my ex-wife, she didn't tell us all. But yeah, that was my ordeal of sexual abuse. Yes, it was only on the one occasion, but that one occasion lives with me for the rest of my life.
Well, first off, Darren, appreciate you coming on, sharing that. And,
no, it's fine.
Obviously revisiting it. I mean, horrendous ordeal, I'm sure everyone who's listening can certainly, when you were talking then, it was kind of, what was going on through your head at the time? Because even though you was only 11, you must have known that this isn't right, what's going on.
Yeah, as I said, I was under the influence of drink. At the time it was happening, I was just trying to shy away from it. When it did happen, it kind of faded out, the memories and stuff, as I was getting older. It was still always there. No one through my life ever understood me because I've never told anyone, and they never understood why I'm so bad, misbehaved, getting expelled from school, little things, getting in trouble with the law as a kid and stuff. It's just smashing windows and things like that. But I went down the wrong path, and to be honest, going through my head, it only started back in 2011 when I knew he'd done it to someone else. It wasn't just a one-off with me. I know whoever he's done in between, and known their people had never come forward. In 2011, when that happened, I did lose my head a little bit. I did get an address I needed, and I knew kind of where it was, but I couldn't remember the exact place. But I did find out. It's not hard to find. And I did have times where I'd sit endlessly for hours outside the house. To do what exactly is for any person's guess. But I was sat there waiting.
Well, we can leave that open to interpretation, but no, I get you. That traumatic experience has obviously messed with you mentally, hasn't it? So would you kind of say, well, I suppose you already have done, but that was sort of the catalyst in a sense that's where you start, because you mentioned you was quite a good kid, you know, living on a council estate, but you had a good kind of upbringing, or the best upbringing you could get in that environment. Would you say that was that moment, but it was just when everything kind of went, your behaviour at school changed, the way you was with people? Yeah,
so I was just obviously going into high school around that time, just after. I lasted at Cowley High School for a matter of not even 12 months before I got expelled. My behaviour was bad towards teachers, to a point where I locked a teacher in a cupboard to make other people laugh. I think it was me wanting to be accepted again. You know what I mean? And people, you know, people to like me, but I was going the wrong way about it. Maybe that could be one of the reasons. As I was still young, I was still maturing in my brain, trying to be mature, and I was just going through life. It was a bad stage, you know what I mean? And it was hard because I was holding it in.
Because you find that, like, a lot of people, particularly in school where they are, you know, being disruptive, there probably is underlying issues, maybe not necessarily as extreme as yours, but maybe there's, you know, domestic abuse going on at home, maybe, you know, they've had a traumatic experience, and people they tend to not look into that, do they? They just see it as it's a naughty kid misbehaving in school.
There's reasons behind it. There is reasons behind 99% of why kids are bad, whether it's the upbringing, whether it's the parents, whether the kids have got underlying issues, or whether they've had an event, what's happened to them, and it's rewired the mind, or they're suffering in silence or something. There's always a reason. And some people, majority of people don't see that, and especially police. You know what I mean? They're just out to get convictions on people and stuff like that, and you're trying to, you know, you can't go to them and, well, this is the reasons I'm being naughty, I know what it is, and whatever. And there's just some people not interested in me. Like my son, he went down the wrong route last year, and a few months ago he got in trouble with the law. He's 16 now. But I can see me in him. And I know what's affected him. And it's when I got took to jail, that's what's done him, that's rewired him. So he's naughty, and the way he is sometimes with his mum, and going to these gang members in his age and getting into trouble, because he's been rewired, and the police don't see that. They're just picking him up all the time, and I'm getting him out, burning him out. But he's got underlying issues, and it needs to be recognised.
So I suppose, certainly you mentioned you got expelled after 12 months. You didn't feel there was that sort of support going up through school? Like,
definitely not.
There's nothing there for you?
No, definitely not.
So how many schools did you go? Did you go to several, or?
So basically, I did my primary school, Anderson Street. I went from there, I got into Cowley, I got accepted at Cowley, a really high grammar school. It was great in sports, high grades all the time they got. It was a top school. I think it is still now. All my kids went to that school as well. I get expelled, I ended up going to Power High, which is not there now, and I finished my time at Power High. Okay. My later years at Power High, So
was you, when you'd left Cowley, had you kind of calmed down a little bit, or was you still?
I think I still was a knotwire. I still was a knotwire, and up until not so long ago, I was a ticking time bomb. People could see it in me. People would avoid me because I was unpredictable. Maybe with what I said sometimes, maybe with the actions I'd done. When I'm on my high days, people want to be around me. But when I'm on my low days, it's like no one,
it's kind
you know,
they keep,
it's like, because sometimes I don't know when I'm going to blow, you know, but, you know, I found cures for it, I found things that help me, and that's how I deal with it. Like, I have had counselling and therapy for what happened to me as young. I've gone through it over and over and over. I've still got the script, what I've written, what went and got him the conviction. A 17-page A4, it's written out there. I still keep that. You know, it's part of my life. My life is the way it is because of what happened to me. Whatever path I went down or what path I got dragged down is because of where I am now. You know what I mean? Where I am now is because of all that. So even though it's a vile, disgusting thing what's happened to me, it's still the reason is where I am now.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I'm here as well.
That's a really good way to look at it. I mean, I always do that. Yeah, obviously, I'm quite open with my mental health struggles and addiction, and I still say I wouldn't be the person I am today had I not gone through that.
Yeah.
So I completely understand that ethos completely, because it does make you who you are. And all right, it might be an extreme negative and vile circumstances that you were in, but it will have made you. You're still here now. Like, it's made you stronger as a person. And I know you've never done a podcast or anything like this before, so hopefully we will get quite a few listeners on this. People who know you, particularly within like the St Helens area, will maybe know why you was so standoffish or why you was a loose cannon. So fair play to you on that, mate. It's just coming on, opening up, and I mean that genuinely. Sort of like leaving school. You touched on only recently. You've kind of mellowed out, shall we say? What when you left school? Was you in trouble with the law, or was it kind of just you go out? I know you touched on you've had a few drug addictions as well.
So I have suffered with addiction, drugs. I've got a very addictive personality, gambling as well. So I left school. I did go work in various places. I had a job with my dad. I think it was one spell in a warehouse. He got me a job there. Did some time there. I got sacked throwing sellotape at someone and whatnot. So basically I went through life. I've not always been working, you see. So I have dabbled on the wrong side of the law. There's things I've got away with and things like that, petty things and stuff like, and there's things I've been caught for. And I've been caught for the worst and things like that. So so when I left school, I can't even remember the guys I used to hang around with. I've always been into the gym, going to the gym. I was a bit of a party head. Out every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in St Helens, drinking. I think that was just me, There was no really there. I did start playing rugby as a young age, in and out of it. I did only stop that when, I'm trying to think. I think it's when I had Jake 16 years ago. No, it would have been a bit after that. Yeah, just with the kids and stuff. I stopped because I was being away too much. It was too much on the mum, the training and stuff 3 times a week. So I kind of come away from the rugby side of it as I just kept the gym in. Yeah.
So would you say, you said at the start the gym's kind of like your sanctuary, and I kind of swear by this as well. Would you say that keeps you, even back then, like you was going out on the weekend partying, but you had the gym that kind of kept you back down to reality, kept you sort of disciplined?
Of course, It's always kept me in a place where it's kept me grounded. I started steroids at a young age. I actually started steroids when I was in school. I was taking tablets. It was tablets form when I was doing my school exams. Just because I was a skinny kid, I used to get bullied. And I wanted to be big. Because I thought at that age, I'll be big, no one's going to bully me. So, I was putting the size on, probably water. So I started there, but I've always at the gym, mate, and I do swear by it. That the gym is a really good place.
No, I completely agree. So you touched on before about having a party lifestyle, going out Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. Did that, presumably you was involved in recreational drugs when you was out doing that lifestyle, either taking it or?
So there was always a bit of coke or something. That's the hardest I ever went to. I didn't go any more hardcore than that. A pill at the odd time, but cocaine. I started with cocaine just as a weekend thing going out, but then I got spiraled out of control. So it was a weekend thing for me going out. May have a bit left over after my night out, so I'd start taking it through the day. Obviously, it was only from 2011 I started messing with drugs. I was always a fitness freak and things like that, you know what I mean? Messing with drugs, started smoking, and it all comes down to when I got reminded of what happened to me as a kid with that newspaper. So it was recreational, just on a weekend. Got out of hand through the weeks. I'd need more. My tolerance levels was higher, so I'd need more to get the same hit. And when I was on a come down, I couldn't handle the come down, so I always had to be up. So it started happening every single day. I needed to stay high. Couldn't handle the come down. I didn't really have many come down because I was always up on it.
Just on that permanent.
Yes, before
slow.
I was having it even, which to this day makes me feel disgusting in myself when I go out with the kids, whether it's the cinema and things like that. I'd shoot off to the toilet. Right. That's how bad it was, and I'd have a line why.
So you was essentially a full-blown addict, yeah.
It was before I went to bed, even going out for meals, I could eat on the stuff. Some people can't. As soon as I get up, not my first thing wasn't a coffee, no. It was in the toilet or whatever, and having a key or a line, whatever. That was my thing. But that's how bad I got on it, you know. Debts, spiraled out of control. And I got myself in a right mess with it, yeah. I couldn't tell you the amount of debt I was in. It was a lot, I know it was a lot to me. It was basically, I could never pay the bill. Obviously I was the addict and I needed to start making more money. I don't think I was working at the time. So I started selling the coke. It started out to just people who knew it, little things for 40 quid here and there. But me having it around me as an addict was no good. I wasn't getting any money off it. I was just taking the stuff, so it was making me fall more and more in debt. And you know what? The worst point is in an outsider's money, not what the price we used to get it for, whatever. It cost you about £1,000 a week, £1,000 plus to have what I was having. So you could say I had £1,000 addiction a week on cocaine. I did lose the inside of my nose, a bit like, was it Danielle Westbrook?
Danielle Westbrook,
she lost that.
Yeah.
I lost it up here, right. The cartilage, you know. Through sniffing constantly, never gave my body, you know, a chance to heal, detoxify. I was always on it. So I got involved in selling drugs a little bit on my own at first. I wasn't making enough money. I basically got, let's say, how can I put it, scouted by a guy. He's not here now to this day. He died of cancer. Yeah, I went jail with him. He was a young lad. So I was doing a charity fight for the Steve Prescott Foundation.
Oh yeah.
I've done a couple for Martin Murray, and it was against a guy. He's an MMA fighter, Carl Morley, hard as nails. I remember him. He was a good mate. Like, he was a good mate of mine. I know him well. And we battled it out in this ring in the new Saints ground, the Wicked Stadium upstairs. I had a good battle. And I got approached by the guy who was buying the cocaine off. And he's asked me, did I want to go and collect some money in for him? You know what I mean? Get this bill down. Okay, yeah. Because his other worker or whatever was struggling. You know, I had the muscle or whatever he's seen in me. You know, he's just seen what I could do in the ring against some guy who was hard as nails.
It's sort of seen as a bit of a heavy kind of thing.
That's it, yeah. We kind of never. So I went to collect some money. There was no trouble, nothing. It was just basically handed over, whatever. And he's like, right, sound. He put me onto a few more jobs, just grabbing money. And that was it. There was never any trouble from it. I never had to do anything. It was just, but my face was enough. And then it went, I can't remember the point. He said, well, you need to get your bill down more. You need to drop this off for me. Okay, right, sound. So I started dropping weight, you know what I mean, off, dropping bits off, like in weights I've never touched before. And it went from there. It went on for a bit, and I got involved with some naughty people. People who probably have got your back, but people you don't want to cross. I was going up in the game. I was getting known by people on the outside public and the law as well at this point. I started being under observations. I was under observations for about 6 months. I'm still this addict. Can't get out of it. Nothing could stop me, no matter what. I couldn't get away from the addiction. We was hitting, well, as the the court says, or the statement to the police when we was in court, we ruined people's lives, we run the streets of the northwest and surrounding areas and down south, wherever they've been mobbing us. I can't really remember the transcripts because I was always up there on the whiffy stuff, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, I remember stuff, but there's not a lot to remember. And
could actually all be a bit like a bit of a roller coaster, so you're either 1 minute, your brain's not in a position where you can digest what's going on.
My door had come off on numerous occasions, front door police, usually when I'm on my own. Did you do intelligence, got it right, and that was the best case or whatever. But on the last one, and I disrespected them so much for it, they come through my door when my kids was right behind her, and I'd don't know where they got the intelligence from. They had stuff there, but I didn't, and I never did, and they found all the stuff what they needed to later in the line. And my door come off with my kids there, and it wasn't nice for them to see. Yeah. And I think to this day I'm still livid over it, and I'm not just angry at them, I'm angry at myself because of what I did, you know what I mean, because they come through for me, and when they're coming through because there's firearms involved, they come through yours with firearms, tasers, shields, you know, red dots on you and things like that, and it's not nice for the kids to see. And that's probably another thing what's rewired my kids as well, from my stupidity of being an addict and taking on the role of being a drug dealer. So I don't just blame outsiders or whatever, you know what I mean? And I don't blame the guy who abused me for me being an addict. You know, it didn't help, but you know, I take the blame for my own actions in some of it. But where I'm going with that, the law, they basically come through so many times, and the last time they come through, I think I just landed from the Dominican Republic with the kids' mum. We picked the kids up, I remember something vague, picked the kids' mums up from the nans at 4 a.m, they was at school next morning. So we'd stay up, and it was 8 a.m, and usually the police, they had a routine of coming through mine after 9. You know, when the kids wasn't there, that was really intelligent, but they come through as my kids, I'm sat in the hall putting the kids' shoes on with the store, and then that's the back door come off, the front door come off, and they come through and they read the charge to me. It was conspiracy to supply Class A. They didn't need to find anything. I don't even think they searched my house. No. Proper. It was just look round. They had what they needed. That word conspiracy, they've got what they need. You basically banter rights and stuff, and yeah, I got arrested, taken in, and interviewed, So that's where it was. That was my last run-in with the police. From the run-in with the police, we ended up getting court dates. It takes ages with the CPS, court dates and stuff. We got the court dates, I got court dates. In the meantime of me getting court dates, the lad who we used to run with on the streets, he's died now, you know, God bless. He'd already been caught and remanded in one of the safe houses.
Right.
You know, so they got intelligence I was linked to this and this. They got caught with the drug safe houses, he was remanded, he was already in jail. So I'm out doing whatever, just not a free guy. Still getting watched, but I was out for an extra 8 months or something like that before they actually took me court and remanded me in January 2016. They remanded me in January 2016. They sentenced me in July 2016 to 10 years. They just gave me 10 years, but because I held my hands up straight away, I went guilty. The first opportunity, he had to, by law, to knock 33% off his sentence, which led it to 6 years, 8 months. Right. That means, obviously, good behaviour, you can do half of that time in jail and do the rest on licence. So I went to jail for just short of 3.5 years, behind the door. Started up in Old Course for Zackler. Ended up in Buckley Hall, Rochdale. I finished my sentence off in Thorncross Open Prison, where I went and got a job from there. So from prison, after so many months of being it's called a lie down spell, get your trust and everything. I had a full paid job, maintaining pubs, grounds, painting hotel rooms. So that was the easiest part of my sentence. I had that little bit of freedom back, and I was earning a little bit of money.
How was prison life for you? Like some people who we've had on have talked about it being traumatic. Some have found it quite easy and adjusted to the environment.
In going from prison, at first, I'll go through it. It was hard. This is when I'm cold turkey off cocaine. Couldn't get it. So I basically gone from doing £1,000 a week ish, give or take, addiction to nothing. They remanded me. The come down I had was bad. I couldn't handle it anyway, and never mind having a come down when you've been taken away from kids, wife, or his ex-wife, mum, dad, friends. I had a life outside. And that's what was hard for me, being taken away from that. So I did everything. I want an appeal. I had no money. My parents, I said, I've got to appeal this, I've got to appeal it, you know what I mean? It's like, they said they can't, they've remanded you, till my sentence. They said they can't. My mum and dad did the research. When I did get sentenced, I tried to appeal it, just see if I could get my sentence reduced. My mum and dad did everything they could. It cost £1,500 for the solicitor to look over a paper for 10 minutes and said, no, there's no grounds for appeal. They didn't have the money, do you know what I mean? Because they're still the same situation as when I was a kid. My mum's still disabled. She still can't work. She's ill, COPD, and what have you. And my dad's out working and he's trying to pay a mortgage off, run the house, bills, food, everything. My mum's on disability money. So we're still in the same boat. For them to get £1,500 was hard work, hard graft. So we'll go on for appeal, gets me sentence, and I knew I had to try and settle in prison, take my mind away from the outside. Obviously in prison, before I got sentenced, was it before I got sentenced? Yes, to 6 months. I lost a lot of things, so there was people who wanted to be there and visit me, mum, dad, immediate family. There was always there. Friends, some friends wanted to see you, then they realise what sentence you get and it starts phasing out. They wasn't friends, you know what I mean? I've never had no contact with them since or anything. You have a few visits and because of the sentence I got, you didn't want to come and think, I know you got your own life outside, that's fine. But a phone call, let me have a phone call with you. I mean, what's that? It's not hard. I did from the, whatever the reason, I ended up getting divorced while I was in jail. So my kid's mum, running through that, she wanted a divorce, which was an hard time. I was in jail and stuff, and it was traumatic, that part of it. But I had no control over it. And I thought it was just hearsay till the divorce papers months and months later landed down on my front, under my door as a letter. Okay, sound. So we ended up getting divorced while I was in jail. I finalised the divorce when I was out. Was I in open prison? Yeah, I was in open prison when could get to the work. I can't remember what it was, but I finalised divorce anyway. I finished it off and actually signed the paper. Even though I signed it inside, it was like a decree absolute, I think. I thought it was the final part of it I had to do. So I got out and did that. But yeah, that was that part. Now, obviously leaving that behind, jail was... It was alright when I was doing something. So let's say I was in the gym 2 to 3 sessions a week, that's all you're allowed. For that half an hour, 45. That was okay. In the bang-up prison, in the lockdown prisons for Zackley and Buckley Hall, you didn't have much freedom. But when you're behind that door, it hits home. You've got a number of TV channels that's just free stuff. I don't watch TV anyway. I still don't till this day. Being honest, it broke me. Jail broke me. Being outside, I could be outside of the police with whatever in my pocket or whatever in my car, and it didn't faze me. But once I got caught, it's like I wasn't invincible anymore. I lost that invincibility. And jail broke me, yeah. Jail brought me to the point where I didn't want to be here anymore. Suicidal thoughts, suicidal attempts. I went through it all. Looking back at it now, I was a selfish person because I've got a family. At the time, with my mental health issues and stuff, that's where it stemmed from. Jail. I had no anxiety before it, no paranoia, no depression. I was, as I said, it was invincible. I thought it was invincible. But, you know, looking back at it now, I was selfish to even think and try, and I've failed attempts at my own life. I couldn't handle it. It's because I had a life outside, and it was one thing now I could not control. I was behind that door, locked up, whatever I was there. I had no control, no say so. I'd have to eat at certain times, to go to work at certain times. And it was all regimented, structured, and I couldn't adapt to it. So jail, it brought me, not that invincible guy anymore. Yeah.
Do you think, and going off the back of what you said, it might seem like a bit of a ludicrous question this, but because you went to jail as an addict, do you think, even though it did break you in that sense, now you're out and you rehabilitated yourself, do you think jail in some way saved you?
Yes, I do say that. I do say that to people ask. It got me away from the drugs. It was dangerous cold turkey on that amount of drugs and steroids I was on at the time. I'd already had prior to going jail, I'd already flatlined twice. Which I forgot to mention, that was after my stag do taking cocaine and brandy mixed raw. It perforated nuts in my stomach. I ended up being in hospital for 10 days. My heart stopped in the ambulance on the way there and in the hospital twice. My kids seen me collapse. And that was just a couple of days after my stag do that, which was in Blackpool. All places, like. But anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, so, and that wasn't enough to stop my addiction. That's what I'm getting at here. I still carried on. The guy who I used to work with come to the hospital, and I asked him to bring me some of that, and me with still tubes in was still sniffing off the hospital table.
Right.
2 days after me op, because I needed that. So went to jail, cold turkeyed. Jail did save me. It stopped me becoming an addict. I had so much time to reflect on what I'd lost because of coming to jail and being an addict. Obviously I lost my marriage, I lost the time with my kids, I lost friends, family. A lot of people turned their back and things. I had a lot on the outside and I took it all for granted. Some things have come back. Kids, you know. The kids side of it come back. I can never get the time back I lost with them, no. The only time I've got with them in jail was an hour a week when they was allowed to come. But I had to split that between parents, other family members, because we were only allowed so many people on it. Yeah. So it, you know, even if you had your kids while you was in jail for the 12 months, you only seen them 52 times, once a week. Yeah. You know, people see their kids 52 times in the space of what, 2 months, 60 days. Yeah. You know, I could only get that time, and it was only for an hour at a time. But yeah, jail in its way saved me from either dying through too much of that, because he'd already flatlined me twice. Yeah. Or becoming basically shot, or stepping on someone's toes, or getting caught up in something. And I'd been previously kidnapped to go in jail by gang members in Liverpool. It got dealt with and stuff like that. They just wanted what we had. Yeah. Now, that was a scary, traumatic experience. I didn't know what was going on. I'd only just been starting work with the lads. It's a long time ago it happened. But yeah, I've been through that. I got snatched. So a lot has happened. Like now, I'll come out of jail a complete different person. I got qualifications while I was in jail. Got an MVQ level 2 diploma in joinery carpentry, which I've never been able to use on the outside. You know, I've become a PT, qualified. It was at Manchester College, who funded it. English, maths is compulsory in there. So I did do the work, you know what I mean, to pass the time and to try and keep me in a safe place. But I've actually come out of that a better person than what I went in. Now, some people don't. Some people can meet the people in there and then go back down the wrong path. I know so many people who'd done 15, 20 years in there while I was in there. You know, they was in before me and got out before me, and he was back in before I'd even finished my sentence. on big charges. They'd obviously not learned the lesson, you know. Or they they couldn't turn away from the life they had. But it was, I made that choice, and I moved away from everything, cut everyone out who was involved in it. And I turned that corner, and I've not looked back.
Yeah. Fair play to you on that. I think when I was listening to you there, you touched on the fact that you was more appreciative of time that you possibly took for granted. So because you was living, obviously you'd had the trauma from being a child, and then also, you know, being an addict and living that roller coaster of a lifestyle. When you've gone inside, you've kind of been able to do a bit of reflection as well. Once you've gone through all, you know, doing the cold turkey and everything, probably resonated with you and thought, I don't want to go back out. I don't want to go back to that life I was living, because that's what's got me here. Yeah. So it sounds like jail potentially. Well, it did rehabilitate you.
It stood for rehabilitation. It doesn't rehabilitate everyone. It rehabilitated me, but it was the hardest time in life where basically there was points where if I succeeded in what I tried to do, I wouldn't be here now.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, you know, now I'm so grateful that I'm here. You know what I mean? I wake up every morning. You probably see on my Instagram, sometimes I put, I'm blessed I've woke up today.
Yeah. No, it's
you know,
right.
on my Instagram and things like that, because I'm happy that I can wake up every day. I'm happy that I can put, you know, I can even provide now. I pay my taxes and stuff like that. Yeah. I've never had I've had a little bits of jobs when I was younger, but I'm in full-time work. I pay my taxes, you know, I'm working 50 odd hours a week. And it makes me, I'm not looking over my shoulder when I hear sirens.
Yeah.
I'm not running from anyone anymore. But yeah, I'm a better person. Yeah, 100%.
You're more you can tell in your
the
facial
time,
expression.
I've got the time. You know what I mean? I'm not at anyone's beck and call. The time I've got that's what I own. Yeah. It's mine.
So you rehabilitated yourself in prison. What was the transition? What made you? I know you said you've always enjoyed the gym. It's your sanctuary. It's your home away from home. What was kind of like the avenue of, I want to get into bodybuilding? What was the thought process there?
So I get back into a gym straight away with a certain guy who lived near my mum where I was staying at the time when I got out of jail. I get out and we was just talking, and he was into the gym, and I wanted to start him, so I started with him. It didn't last very long, but it was fine. But you know, we started. I think it was just one of these conventional 24-hour gyms we went. And I seen in there one of my relations. He's married into the family, and he looks in good shape and stuff. And I was having a good chat with him, and he tells me he goes to this other gym at the time, which is the Newton Fitness one, and it's full of bodybuilders and stuff like that. And I said to him, can I jump on with you like one time? And he's like, yeah. So I jumps into that gym with him, and that's where I've always been since really being out of jail. Newton Fitness, cracking gym. They just upgraded all the equipment and stuff there recently, and I did take myself away from that. I ended up getting a little job there. Wasn't many hours, but it was a bit of money. Do you know what I mean? And it kept me away from anything what I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to. So going that gym with him, it was a bodybuilder's gym, normal gym as well. There was normal people going, but there was the guys who run it, the bodybuilders and the big in the game, like. So I was getting a lot of knowledge from these. I was talking about it. I was interested. I've never dieted in my life. My diet's always been pizza, kebabs, McDonald's, and this. Before the gym, I'll go and have a pizza, or I'll take the gym for pizza from the night before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I go to the gym Sunday morning from the Saturday night pizza. I'll take that with me and eat it in the gym. Yeah. That was my diet, you know. And I thought it looked alright. I was like a 19 stone thing, yeah. And when I do diet, I get down to the lightest I've been is 14.6 from 19. Well, that's me stripped back to basically bone and muscle. That. So we get in this gym and we're training, and my relation, he's already done a competition the year before up in St Helens as well, and he loved it. He's on about doing another one. I said, well, do you know what, I think I'd do that. Now bear in mind as well, at this point I was still a bit of a ticking time bomb. I've just got out of jail and things like that a couple of years prior. I still have not got my feet grounded. I still was a ticking time bomb in the way is, if I'd have conversations, my perspective on the conversation could be not like a normal person's. Well, I'd do this.
Yeah.
They'd look at me, you would? Yeah, I'd just fucking take the person. You know what I mean? It was like, not speak to him first. No. It was like kind of on the lines there. I was still that ticking time bomb. I spoke to the guy who was there. I talked to him. He's Mo. his name, and he put his hand out to help me. Didn't once. He just seen how much I was struggling at this time. Mental issues and stuff, because I've got the anxiety, you know, and this is all stemmed from jail, and this is why I'm on medication now. I'm a very bad overthinker, and he put his hand to help me there, and he did me in a first prep. He got me from being this 19 stone person right down, and he got me to win my first show. People said it, and people's gone to him now because of what he did for my body in the space of 13, 14 weeks. Completely transformed my body and transformed my life. So that was my first bodybuilding bit. When I got into the bodybuilding, so I had to cook my meals, structured, 6 meals a day, have a time slot window, whether it's eat in the morning from 6, then 9 in the morning, 12, 3, 6 and 9, so every 3 hours. With structured food, weighed out carbs, foods, proteins, carbohydrates, all your macros, all weighed, yeah. So he'd give me the plan, he'd give me my training session, and I nailed the show, the first one. Every show you do in bodybuilding, you're going to get better. Whether it's a few months later or whatever, you're always going to get better. You're going to mature muscle, you're going to come in a better condition, you're going to be a bit thicker, your posing's going to be better. So that was it. I decided to jump in another show because I got invited to the British finals for my first show, PCA. Now, I went into that, obviously, I was looking good, the best I've ever been. The second show, I didn't get placed in that. There was 22 lads on stage, and they was good, do you know what I mean? So I went into this show, I was stressed. The cortisol was released in my body, I've gone watery, I forgot my posing trunks. I'm in Telford and realised I've got no posing trunks. You know, my brother brought them up next morning. So I'm panicking over everything. Even forgot to go for my tan on the morning of the show. I'm sat there having a bit of steak and eggs, you know what I mean, in the hotel, and I'm stressing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was stressed, my body changed the way it looked. So I didn't come placed on that. But I was very grateful for the help, what Mo had given me, and what he'd done for me mentally as well. He'd kept me mind structured. It is very good for mental health. But also it's a bad thing as well if you suffer with mental health as well. So you've got to try and find the balance. If you're an overthinker and you suffer with things and you need something to do all the time, great, because you're cooking. You can cook it fresh, you can cook 3 days at a time, whatever you want. It's good. It stops you thinking about other things. You can't think about other things because you're thinking about when your next meal is. That's a really powerful thought. When the next eat, you're counting down the time. So anyway, I did shows, them 2 shows, the British. In the same year, which was last year, I did NABBA. I did NABBA Northwest, novice. I come second. So it was second to my relation, it was really good, you know what I mean? I was made up with that slot. Got invited to Britain, went to NABBA Britain, got top 6 at NABBA in Britain, in the novice last year. It's progress for me. It's really good progress. I've come out to them shows, 4 shows last year, and everything was fine. I've come out to them a reverse diet, not the best reverse diet, but I started to lose my head because I wasn't structured enough with my food. I needed to get back into it. It was something I needed to get back into it. Speaking to my missus and things about it, and she's just always wanted the best for me. She knows I struggle in prep, being hungry and stuff, but she wants the best for me. She's helped me through every single prep. I wouldn't have done a prep without her, because when I cannot get off that couch and cook, she's got the plan on her phone. She'll go and weigh my food, even up till the other day. Mate, I'm late home from work and she's got 3 kilo of chicken in the oven for me. She knows my weight. She goes and gets it because she knew I couldn't get the butchers and stuff. She's gone and done it. Great, absolutely perfect. I don't ask or tell her to do it. She does it because she wants me to be the best version of me, and be that is food is very important in my life. So the bodybuilding side of it, yeah. So I get to that. I get to know the coach. He brings out the best of me this year. Up to date, Northwest. Don't speak to him again. It really doesn't interest me, mate. You know what I mean? It's whatever's gone on. I'm not going into it too much, but he's better not be spoke about. Anyway, from there I've just done a bodybuilding competition, which was I went to NABBA Britain. I got second in NABBA. My relation piqued me, got me right on the day, and I come away with second at NABBA Britain's this year, and a qualification to Mr. Universe. The most recent one was NABBA England, which was Sunday just gone, the 24th?
Yeah,
The 24th of this month, so September. Now, prior to that, 3 weeks prior to that, the guys I was with, being coached with and training with, it was hard to carry, without putting the blame on anyone, it was hard to carry on the training sessions, what they was doing at the certain times. I couldn't make it. My job was important to me, my funds, my bills. You know, when I'm doing fasted cardio at 3:45 in the morning, that's when I was doing my cardio. Why I was doing it at that time is because I was suffering a bit mentally with anxiety, and I didn't want to be around people, so I'd go out at 4:45 in the morning when there's no one round, just a milkman, and basically get my cardio in. So I couldn't train with the lads at the time. They wanted to train at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night and go into 10 o'clock coming home from cardio, knowing that I've got to cook, possibly jab, get my stuff ready for work, up at 4:15 to do cardio, to be in work for 6. I couldn't do it, it was hard. So we started, I wasn't going our separate ways, but the conversations went quiet. Certain questions wasn't getting answered. But the guy who's doing it is in prep as well, and he understands it's so hard to even answer the text. So anyway, I was speaking to a guy recently, one of my good mates, he's been mates for years, Ryan Jackson. I've done a few sessions with me, he's jumped in with a few sessions with me in this prep when he can. He's an HGV driver, so he's not got a lot of time. He's rang me every single day, not just the days I've been suffering, but the days I'm on eyes. Every day he rings me, I'm up on the van and I'm on the M6 and what have you, and he's ringing me, I've been on phone for hours. I've got to tell him, listen, I've got to go, mate. I said, I'm back at the yards, you know what I mean? He doesn't want to get off the phone, he makes sure I'm right, how I'm feeling, he tells me how he was. He's just done an holiday, mate. He's just done a family holiday and phoned me every single day from his family holiday, checking in with me. He's just been there. He's a lifesaver, what a guy, you know. I'm going to go and see him after this podcast because he's only just got back from holidays today. In the last week as well, a guy texted me, a really good coach, asking how I'm getting on with my prep. Yeah, it's going good, but I'm actually at a point where I'm struggling. And he said, what are you struggling with? He said, you look amazing, I've seen your pictures on Instagram. He said, you're going to smash it and what have you. So I kind of give him a brief little outlook of what's been going on recently over the last few weeks. And he went, oh, Daz, he said, I said, can I have a go and chat with you? And he invited me to his house. I asked for the help, and he didn't refuse it. I thought it was amazing. We had a chat an hour or so, and I said, can you have a look at me? This coach has been doing it 10, 12 years, whatever, and the condition he brings his clients in is absolutely unbeatable. He said, look at me, he said, well, Daz, I said, I'll be honest with you, you still got a little bit of fat on you. He said, you need to strip that back before you carb up. And I said, right, is that how we do it? Like, and he went, yeah. He said, so what's your plan? He's asking me, I'm going through it, and he's like a wizard. He just went, one sec. And he's there and he's looking through my plan, and he's on his phone. What I'd do is this, bang, 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 low carbs now, pre-workout, post-workout, very low carbs, and then zero carbs. And he's like, oh, zero carbs? Went, yeah, you have to, otherwise you're not going to bring it. Okay. He knows what he's doing. I've seen his posts and everything, and I know him anyway from the gym. Kieran, I'm going to do it. He said, it's a risk. He said, I don't know your body. He said, I don't know you, I've not prepped you. He said, but do it. He said, if you don't know what you're doing, take my advice. Took it. Done it, the depletion. Oh, it was hard, but I still didn't feel like I was dead like I did in the last preps. The guy send me pictures, send me weights, 6 o'clock in the morning, send me pictures after your meal 2, send me pictures after your meal 5. This is what he's like. He's on you. If you're not on him, he's on you. That's how a coach should be.
Yeah.
Can't meet you, he can't meet me because he's busy doing his other stuff. Dad, send me pictures. 6 o'clock pictures, now send me pictures after you pump. And he's adjusting my food like this. And it's working. My body's changing after every meal. I'm having meals and my body's changing and this and anyway. Right, this is what you need to do. We're just going to do plan day by day. Sends me pictures one morning, right, you're looking good, keep the first meal the same, send me a picture after your second meal and what have you, and then it'll change a little bit. I goes up to the England show the night before, stays over in a hotel with missus and what have you. Pictures, couldn't get good lighting. He went, listen, I understand the thingy lighting, you're looking shredded, absolutely best to date. I said, well, you've nailed it. He said, you're best to date. All the protocol, I went on stage, I smashed it. The guys who was on stage with me, they were stacked.
Yeah.
They were stacked. I was the smallest guy on stage in height and in muscle thickness. These guys were stacked. I seen them in the changing rooms. There was no stress, no pressure. Didn't need win the show. Didn't need come anywhere. I've always got me into the university in weight. Was it six top lads on stage, mate? One of the lads the week before won an overall and something else. An overall is where you won your class, your height class, but you're the best bodybuilder on the day.
Yeah.
So the best bodybuilder out of every class is 1, 2 and 3 is height wise and physiques with the sports shorts and whatever. He beat all them. I only went and beat him. I was made up. Yeah. I outpaused him, my muscle definition, my conditioning, out-conditioned him, done a lot, mate. He's messaged me on Instagram, he said, wow, he said, couldn't believe I come up against you. He said, wow, what a physique.
Yeah.
And it's nice to get messages like that. Yes, I put all the hard work in myself, the graft, the diets and stuff. But this guy, Kieran Driscoll, he's actually on Instagram, Kieran Purpose Driven, he does coaching, with an IFBB pro guy, Ryan. They do it. So if anyone wants coaching, get on him.
We'll put the links in the description as well for any of these. Yeah,
he's absolutely amazing. He stands by you step by step. In a week, he changed me from being good, what I got myself, very good, and the lads who was me before, to the best I've ever been in a week. I couldn't believe it. I've seen the pictures from where I was before him, which was good, to show day. The morning of the show day, he was changing me every hour with what he's telling me of. He's not only just left me where I've been left by, like, you know, in the past by other coach and that. Right now we need to get you in this. He's told me what to have now because I've come out. Now we push big food, big heavy food. We need to have you filling up. We take this out so you don't get fat, this and this. He's still there up until this day. I still had a conversation with him today. He's in Turkey now, or do his business or whatever, and he's still messaging me from there. I sent him a picture checking, Daz, you're nice and full, right where you need to be, keep doing what you're doing, thanks, sound. You know, I'm getting messages and I'm getting feedback, that's all I need. But yeah, he's top coach, top guy, and I would recommend him to absolutely anyone who wants to go into bodybuilding.
Yeah.
He says it how it is. If you're shit, he'll tell you you're shit, and he'll make you right, trust me.
So you'd say you've found the coach for you now?
Yeah, he's a coach for me. Everyone's got a coach they can stick with. Don't get me wrong, listen, I've had good coaches from the likes of Moore at Newton Fitness. Cracking coach, knew what he was doing, I'd been on a different diet from him and stuff. And it was all good. I had other coaches in between. Yeah, listen, don't take anything on. They've got knowledge, they've got good coaches, but he wasn't the coach for me, and it kind of proves it coming up to me last week of preps. But this one is where it's kept me mentally in a safe place. You know what I mean? This coach is the one what I'd use
just the fact he's calling you from holidays. He's asking you to send pictures, like pretty much. I mean,
yeah, he said we'll get
pictures every day and find those little tweaks and adjustments.
Just see how I'm filling up on the food, mate. That's how he wants to look. He's got that eye where he can look and he can pull a certain food or drop a certain food to get you back right the day after.
Yeah.
He's just progress pictures because he says to me, "You're not getting fat. We're going to get you thick."
Yeah.
And things like that. You know, we stay fat free. That's what we do.
So just purely curiosity, and I'm sure some of the listeners might be intrigued. What's kind of like on an average day? What are you eating from morning to
what I'm eating, right? Yeah. So averaging my meals, they weigh about half a kilo each. I have 6 meals a day. That's this point. Leading up to the bodybuilding competition, we go in at deficit, so food's pretty low, carbohydrates are nearly non-existent, so it's just high proteins and fats.
Yeah.
But at the push phase now, which is good because we've been starving for so long. Even though we're bodybuilding, it's called bodybuilding. It's not body starving. We still got to have food and not get skinny and not waste. So now my meals are 5 a.m. I wake up, first meal. It's different on a Sunday, it's 4 a.m. because of my training programme. On an average day, Monday to Friday, 5 a.m, first meal, oats, big lump of oats, protein, banana, peanut butter. 2.5 to 3 hours later, I have a meal then, usually in the steak and rice side. Load of it, you know, it's like 300 grams of rice and same steak, 200 steak, whatever. Next meal is chicken and rice with peanut butter, and then chicken and rice for my next meal, similar meal. Pre-workout's the same. My last meal, my post-workout is usually oats and that. So my diet's pretty basic in the way of, it's simple. It's steak with rices, chicken with rices. I could take rice out and put potatoes in if I want, but rice is just easy to cook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oats and protein. Then you have your little things in. You know, you can have your honeys and blueberries and stuff like that. But I tend to not from instructions, so I don't get fat. I just stick with peanut butter. But that's my meals. I have plenty of salt. You know, stay away from sugary sauces. But I've got used to eating plain bland food. I eat food now to fuel. I eat my meal and it does taste alright because I can cook steak pretty good anyway, do you know what I mean? I can cook steak pretty good and it tastes alright, and I'm eating that, and I know when I'm eating that I can feel it going where it needs to. As time goes on, you know, in space of the half an hour I feel myself getting full. Half an hour later I'm hungry. That's what we need. We need to feel hungry. So when we feel hungry, we push more food. Yeah. You know, so basically it's basically clean, lean food.
Yeah.
Just getting the balance right for your body, because everyone's different. You couldn't have the same diet as me. You could probably have the same basis as steak and rice, chicken and rice, but your weights would be different.
Yeah.
You
fluctuates as well.
Everything fluctuates. Your weight to your carbs, your proteins, your fats. It's all going to be different. It's different for everyone.
Yeah, it has always fascinated me. I mean, as you can quite clearly see, I've never gone down the road of bodybuilding, but I've always been like with you, just listing off the food and the times you eat and how disciplined it is. That I tip my hat off massively to anyone who dips the toe in it. So I suppose it brings me on nicely to this next question. What advice would you give to someone if someone came to you and they said, you know, I've been watching your Instagram, you competed, I want to get into bodybuilding? They might be like me, they've never done anything, they might be quite skinny. What would you advise them?
First, a bit of advice. Make sure you've got feasible time and funds for it. Depending what you look like now is how long it's going to take to get you stage ready. There's no point going to a coach and saying I want to be on stage in 12 weeks. They probably won't do it. You need to bring you down first over the space of months, strip everything down, see what's underneath, feed you back up and do it the right way. I'm no coach, I've just got experience in myself and from what I've had from other coaches. Now, I'd advise to find the right coach for you. It's perfect you find the right coach, someone who's going to be there all the time, someone you find out what kind of plan they will do for you. Do you know what I mean? Is it feasible? Are you going to enjoy it? Next thing is obviously the time. It takes time. You need to be consistent, and you need to have, more importantly, a good team around you as well. People say it's a lone and selfish sport. Yeah, it's a lone and selfish sport because coming to the end of things stop. You've not got the energy to do anything, whether it's go to the cinema with your missus, take your kids to the cinema, take them out for days, like out, coming into, not this prep, but my other preps, taking my kids to these factories and stuff, and I can't go on it with them. I've not got the energy, so I'm like to my missus, do you want to go on it? And she's like, Dad, I want to go on with you. And I'm like, I physically can't. I'm running on basically 200 grams of chicken and a bit of spinach. I've got no, and it's like I can't. So everyone suffers around you. A good team, my team, the training and everything was bang on, and as I say, it faded out a little bit there. But my team, the one who's been there from the start and still there to the finish, is my missus. I come home and if she knows I'm behind, she's already been the butchers, the food's in, cooking, she knows she's got me planned there, and it's like, you know, it's not living like the older know where the wife stays at home. No, she works and everything. She has a little bit more time at home than me, or she's home a bit earlier, and you know, she knows I'm going to be home late. She's helping me with the food. I come home a couple of weeks ago, I've got 15 meals prepped in the fridge. I'm like, you don't, seriously? Start to get it done, I've got nothing to do. Good team, cracking team, but you need that team. And obviously the two lads I mentioned, Ryan Jacko, Kieran Driscoll, massively helped, stepped up, took a task on. Kieran nailed it. Ryan's been there mentally as a best mate. He's like a brother, just not blood. But like I've always said, blood makes you related, but loyalty makes you family.
100%.
And that is, I've lived by that for so long. And I actually said that to him the other day, you know, and he was like, wow, Daz. I said, there you go, mate.
Yeah, it's home.
Same to you, yeah.
So going back on to, obviously, you know, the bodybuilding, the discipline and what have you, any of the listeners who may be listening who've potentially gone down similar avenues as yourself, maybe they've had traumatic experiences when they were a kid, maybe they've got involved in crime, or they've suffered with addiction, what would you say worked best for you?
So
to get away from all that and combat all
being
that?
structured. Obviously I got structured of being in jail, eating at certain times and things like that. Now coming out and doing the bodybuilding, it's a kind of similar thing. It's regimented, it's structured, it's consistency, what have you. It did help me mentally, 100%, massively, because it stopped me overthinking and the anxiety side of it. I had no time to do that because all I had to think about is weights and this and scales and cooking this and cooking this and cooking this. Yes, I get stressed doing it all on my own. Try and cook steak, chicken, fish, rice, potatoes, all your veg. It wrecks your head.
Yeah.
But it wrecks your head in a way of stress. I'd rather suffer with stress than anxiety, overthinking, because when them thoughts go in my head, they're not very nice. And to a point where I've gone back on the medication recently because of certain things that have happened. Yes, I'm in a better place now. The thing with me is, I've been invited to the universe. It's hard to score now. Do you know what? I've not come out of this the best, this England. But I'm going to keep structured, and that's what exactly I've done. I've rebounded diet well with Kieran. He's told me what to do, and I've rebounded well, and I will rebound and keep my food structured now. So yeah, I might not be going on stage anytime soon, but I'm going to keep fat free. I'm just going to grow in size, get thick muscle, whatever. And that's because I'm structuring my food right, so that's going to help with my mental health. So anyone who's suffering with their mental health and thinking about going in bodybuilding, what do you advise it? There's yes and no. At first you're going to be structured, you're going to be thinking, cooking, training, that's all you're going to think about. What's hard is when you come to the last part, is when you start being hungry. Your hormones are all over the place anyway. You can't think straight, you've got brain fog. Then all these mental illnesses, they do come. And, you know, I'm not the only person. There's a lot of people out there who suffer, but they deal with them a lot better than I do. That's just my experience, that I suffer. I know what's coming when I go on a show, that I'm going to suffer mentally the week before. Basically throwing the towel and stuff. I know it's coming, so I know if I go for the universe, Mr. NABBA universe, I'm going to suffer mentally the week before. The way I suffered on this England one, not wanting to be here anymore, walking around the block, saying to me, Mrs. Annie, get out the house, get out. She's like worrying and panic, and seeing the panic on her face. I can't put her through that again.
Yeah.
Not anytime soon anyway. So, someone getting into bodybuilding, to see what you're left with underneath, to see the hard work you put in the gym, that's the only way you're going to see. Not on getting a beach body diet, there's a difference from beach body and stage ready. A massive, massive difference. So if you want to see what you've really built over the years and years of training, the only way is to aim for the stage, I think. Not, you know, get yourself a coach who can monitor you, do it right, and see what you're left with. It'll keep you structured. It might be good for most people, it might not be. When you've got a family life, you do have to sacrifice it.
Yeah.
Social life as well. So be ready for it. Be ready for it. Now, if you're in condition really good and you can stay in condition all the time, a bit like the coach who I used, Kieran, he's conditioned throughout. He still can do his family days things because he doesn't need pull fat back. He doesn't need to go in a massive deficit because he's in condition all year round. He's shredded.
Yeah.
Look at his pose. You could send him a picture. You can send a picture any time of the day, and he's absolutely shredded. So he can stay because he's done all the hard work over the years. so he can still do his family life. So he's ideal for bodybuilding, and this is why he can do it, and he's done it for so long. But I'm not willing now to sacrifice any more of my life just yet. You know what I mean?
I think you've had a go. You know, you've done reasonably well at it.
Yeah.
You've realised where the cons and pros are. Excuse me. You've realised where the cons and pros are, and now you know. You just got to keep yourself structured and disciplined.
Yeah.
And then see how you go, tick over, and then make an evaluation.
Make
it's kind of like
decision.
short-term, long-term goals kind of thing, isn't it? So yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you, Darren. Considering you've never done a podcast before, mate, I thought you'd come across really well there. So thanks very much for coming on. You've lived quite a life. I'm sure a lot of
believe it or not, mate. Even though I get on stage in a pair of posing trunks, all tanned up, and I can stand in front of the cameras, what's there and stuff. You know, even though me still coming here, I was still nervous, but you made me feel really welcome, mate.
Well, no, appreciate it. You've got a lot off your chest.
Yeah, of course, mate. It's nothing that I've never spoke about before, but never in a podcast.
Yeah.
Like I said, all this is to hopefully people get a bit of an understanding as well about me. You know, from my events through my life and stuff, and see how I come out of jail, and I'm now actually working now full time. I've took to bodybuilding. I'm structured. I'm busy all the time. Now I'm getting my life back, go away with the missus and stuff, and hopefully get away with the kids sometime. But I'm going to enjoy Christmas. This is going to be the first Christmas I'll enjoy, because I've been in jail for so long. When I've come out to go into bodybuilding, so I've always been dieting. You know, I keep clean now and eat food up until Christmas and keep it there. Yeah, you know, maybe I can have a few days off where I don't need to bring the scales out. As long as I do it all right now, there's no point messing it up now and then having a Christmas and starting from scratch.
Yeah, no, exactly. And
you'll
appreciate
Christmas.
the little wins like Christmas.
Yeah.
A lot
It's family
better.
time, mate.
I think with the listeners, certainly from my experience talking to you, it's a full circle story. You know, you've kind of gone through the hardships, some really bad hardships, and then come out of it at the other end, light at the end of the tunnel, as they say.
Yeah, of course.
So I think it'll resonate with a lot of our listeners. So thanks very much for coming on, mate.
Thank you for having me, mate. It's been a pleasure, mate.
I've been Daniel Hodges. This is Darren Winstanley. You've been listening to the HodgeCast. Take it easy.
Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this episode or have enjoyed any of our previous episodes, then can I please ask that you follow and subscribe to the channel. It would mean so much to us, and it really will help grow the show, meaning better production, bigger guests and content for you all to enjoy. Thank you, and as always, stay blessed.